Welcome to the Creation to Cash Flow podcast. On this podcast, we discuss strategies to maximize your creativity and help you achieve financial freedom. Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I'm losing my voice a little, but overall, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am so good, and I'm so happy to see that your husband is home
I
too.
know.
What an amazing video. That was so touching. I was sobbing.
I've never been so surprised in my entire life, and I'm honestly impressed at how he was able to pull it off. It was like a long time in the making. Like he wouldn't buy things. Like it was just amazing how he went out of his way to really surprise me. So I'm still surprised that he surprised me.
Impressive. Absolutely impressive job out of Evan. So today, our topic is going to be finding and attracting leads, whether those leads are brands that you're looking to work with for social media content, or maybe your business is a little bit unrelated and you just need to know, where am I going to find my first customer and continue to find customers? So, in order to start us off, Michelle, what are your thoughts on this? What was it like getting your first ever lead, customer, brand deal? What was it like?
So when it was my social media management business, getting my leads was all word of mouth because I was present. And I think that goes for digital things as well. Because if people don't know you exist and don't know what you bring to the table, how are you ever going to get connected with them? So, just for the community aspect, I was very involved in my community, and that's how my social media management business grew. But for content creation, I was just creating content on social media, being present and knowing that whatever I'm posting is going to be seen by whoever wants to see it and whatever, the algorithm does in the algorithm's hands to push it to people. And my first brand deal was actually just a random person selling apparel, and she saw my Instagram content and wanted to send me stuff for free. And I was like, sure. I wasn't posting, I was a content creator. I was just creating content, and I attracted those people both in real life and then in the digital world. So I think that just showing up is step number one.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think the first step, no matter what kind of business or however you're monetizing your creativity, first step is to do whatever you're doing consistently. Tell people, talk about it, make videos, get this in front of people so that they know it exists, because no one's working with you or buying anything from you if they don't know you exist. And that's absolutely the first step.
Yeah, it's like us having this podcast, but then never telling anybody about it and just hoping that somebody someday happens upon the Spotify or Apple podcast. Like that, no, we're sharing it. We're telling people in different ways that this exists. If we didn't, then no one would watch it or listen.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And if that feels scary at first, I love starting this with friends and family. I know we kind of touched on this in our episode about like the benefits of working for free, the pros and cons, but it's a really good place to start, build up a little bit of confidence and some social proof, some numbers, some analytics so that you can approach people and be like, "Hey, here's everything I can bring to the table." Like as you could see, my 21-day mental reset program helped these five people totally do a 180 in like the way they live and feel. So then you can approach other people and be like, "Hey, you're in a similar situation as everyone else I've helped. You'd be a perfect fit for this."
Yeah, it's true. And I think that it goes back to doing something you want to do, you're passionate about it is almost more scary than doing something that you just know how to do. And we've talked about this previously, but it's like starting with the friends and family and the word of mouth and people that won't criticize you in a way that will hurt you is so important.
Yeah, you're very much correct about that, because not everyone is going to have nice things to say about your business or the content you make or whatever it might be. So you have to learn to, one, not let that hurt you, and two, can you learn something from that feedback? Can you use that as a way to improve what you do, the service that you provide? There's going to be a lot of discouraging things that happen in your business, though, especially when it comes to finding and attracting new leads for yourself. Because let's say you're reaching out to people. If you reach out to 100 people for your service, whatever it is, it's mostly going to be no's, especially when you get started. But that's not something that's discouraging. You
Yeah.
can use this and collect data and be like, every time I reach out to 100 people, I get 20 that respond, 10 positive responses, and 5 people that are like qualified and interested. And you can start to figure that out. Okay, well, of those 5 people that are interested, maybe you turn 2 of them into paying clients and you can learn, okay, my conversion rate is 2%. So, 2 things you can do there to start making more money in your business. One, you can start reaching out to more people. If your goal is to get 20 clients, you got to reach out to 1,000 people. We just did 10x, 10 times more outreach equals 10 times more clients. Nice, simple math. This is the first thing though, and a lot of people make the mistake of not doing enough outreach for their
Mhm.
business.
It is a numbers game. Most of business is a numbers game. It just is. It's like even posting the content. Post 100 videos, one might blow up, but you have to post 100 to get the one.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. Ooh, really, you tied that back nicely. And the other thing you can do is work on improving your conversion rate, right? Maybe those 10 people that respond, maybe there's something you can do to get 6 interested and then 3 that actually become a paying client. So that one's a little bit tougher though, because it takes time. And the more of a sample size you have, the better you can identify what your conversion rates really are, which messages are working best for you, what's the best form of communication. Is it in person? Is it email? Is it through DMs? And starting to figure all of these things out and just make steady, consistent improvements, and your conversion rates will go up.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's also neat to think about some of the biggest businesses in the world have extremely low conversion rates, but they're getting in front of so many people that they're making millions or billions of dollars because they understand that it's a numbers game. They don't let the no's discourage them and keep them from playing the game that is your business. They look at it and they're like, okay, if if we have a 3% conversion rate and we can't get it any higher, how do we get this in front of a million people and get ourselves 30,000 clients?
Yeah. I mean, that goes back to being present, like showing up. People have to know you exist. If people don't know who you are and what you do, what they're you're not going to get what you want, you know? And that ties into that. I mean, that's why they run so many paid ads because it's a numbers game. And I think that whenever we have a business, we take it personally because it is our business, but we have to remember it's a numbers game. No matter what you're doing, there your people are out there. People that want what you have to offer exist. You just have to find them.
I love picturing bigger businesses and how they think about this because when you're a small business owner, it can be whether you're a UGC creator or you're selling digital products or monetizing another passion, it can be discouraging because you're probably working by yourself. So it's hard to see the big picture. But I like to think about actual brick and mortar stores and like, what are they doing? Like when you picture a fast food restaurant like McDonald's, McDonald's does not make so much money because they have the best cheeseburger ever. McDonald's makes so much money. I mean, obviously, it's actually the real estate, but that's a
It
whole
is
different topic.
one-hundred%
That's a whole
because
different
they're in the
topic.
right place at the right time.
True, true. But specifically, like their burgers and things, like how they sell so many, it's because there's McDonald's everywhere.
Yeah.
They have a product that turns them a profit. So then they're like, all right, how do we get this in front of everyone? It's not one McDonald's store that has the best burger and is drawing everyone in by word of mouth. They're like, all right, how do we get this on every important street corner in every country of the world?
Yeah, and make it as fast as possible for people to come in and come out, and then make it fun for the kids with the Happy Meals and all of that. Yeah, it's a numbers game. And if I was an employee at McDonald's, then I would think of it that way. But if I was the owner starting McDonald's and it was my only store and it was very personal, it would be harder. So I'm so glad you're bringing this up because when we're working for another company, it's easier for us to remove the emotional side of it. So it's important for us to intentionally be mindful of, am I thinking out of emotion right now? Or am I thinking logically and putting this into a very realistic statistical execution to where I will now think of this as a numbers game? So I love that you brought that up. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you are so right. It's hard as the owner to remove the emotions from your business, but it is so important. And I know everybody hates numbers. Like the engineer, the former engineer in me, even though I'm still registered until 2029. Um, those days are flying by, though. I'm losing the knowledge quickly,
Oh
but
my gosh.
I'm always going to be good at numbers. And a lot of people like they run from numbers. They don't want to know their conversion rate because they know it's going to be low. But if you brace yourself for the fact that, of course, it's going to be low, especially if you're new to all of this, and then you do more outreach and you work on improving it, and you remove the emotional side of all the people that are like, no, unsubscribe, leave me alone. If you can look past that, you are going to do so well in business. This is what gets people down, though. They don't do enough outreach and they're not getting enough clients.
Yeah, I mean, because we put so much time and effort into things. And the hard part is that, for example, a lot of creators see successful creators where they're thriving now, but they missed the whole entire process and journey that brought them there. The amount of times they had to look at the word no and keep going. And it's hard to remember that every successful person once started where you are today, like where the person listening is today, where we are. We're still at the very beginning of our career. Like we have so much ahead of us and we've accomplished a lot, but we're just getting started too. And so it's like we have to be in the right mindset to not take no as rejection, but instead as redirection. And then we have to continue moving.
Redirection, not rejection. That's a really good way to put it. And one thing that helps me think about this too is the fact that some of those people that say no probably were not your ideal client anyway. And then that kind of takes us into our next topic of who is your ideal client. And if you're if you're just a regular content creator, you make UGC and you're looking for brands to work with, Michelle, what would you consider to be an ideal client?
It took me a long time to actually figure that out. It took me a lot of trial and error and figuring out, do I enjoy this kind of brand? Do I enjoy this product? And so now, I mean, my ideal client's always changing, but I like people that are easy to work with that allow me creative freedom to create content in the way that I enjoy creating content, no matter what industry or niche that is. But at first I thought, oh, fashion. And then I didn't enjoy doing that every day. So then it was food and then it was skincare. And I was like, do I even like making content anymore? But I learned that me specifically, I had to not put myself in the niche box because that's not how I'm wired. And then really it is still reaching out to brands, whether it's somebody I had a gifted collaboration with or not, reaching out after one collaboration if I really enjoyed working with that person. I just want to work with people who allow me to be expressive in the way that I'm expressive. And then they're a joy to work with. And then I can over deliver and be a joy to work with as well. That's my ideal client. And it takes a lot of time to find them, but not if you're on a lot of different platforms, doing a lot of different outreach. It really doesn't take as much time once you're getting exposed in many different ways.
It does take some time, honestly, to find your ideal client because you'll start and you'll be like, who do I think my ideal client is? And as you start working with new people, creator or whatever type of business you have, you'll start to figure out, like, actually, I like working with these people the most or these brands the most. Like for me, when it comes to social media clients, I like working with small businesses the most that don't have a lot of Instagram followers and don't really know how to make short form content. Even though they might not have the same budget, I like working with them the most because I don't like to make that many videos, to be honest. Like, I'm busy. I don't want to make 40 videos per month for a brand. I'm happy making like 3 a week and just helping them see results and start to like grow their business and then continue to grow with them. Like, that's my ideal social media client. And no matter what kind of business you have, this is another skill that you will learn inevitably is, who is my ideal client? Who do I like working with the most?
Yeah.
When I was doing when I was mostly doing my life coaching, I found out that I thought my ideal client, I thought I was so clever because I was like, my ideal client is everyone because 90% of Americans don't like their life or their job or something is like holding them back. And I thought I was so clever. I was like, everyone is my ideal client. I'm going to win at business. Turns out I liked working with the most. I had a better conversion rate with, and they had a better experience, the client, if they were in their 30s or 40s and they were a family oriented individual, meaning like husband of family of four or a wife or someone that just appreciates time with their family and they just want to show up as a better version of themselves for their family. And they also had the budget to work with me. I wasn't looking for 18-year-olds that are about to go into college, even if like they had the symptoms of my ideal client. That's not my ideal client. And I started to learn that. And then you can pitch yourself to those people. You can start to find, where do I find 30 and 40-year-olds that are a little bit out of shape, that are looking to be healthier mentally, physically, financially, that just need someone to talk to and help them get back on track.
Wow, it's so true. And I think that that is one of the most difficult things is most beginners like you and I say everyone. We'll work with everyone, anyone, whatever. But at the end of the day, we have to kind of work with a lot of different types of clients or brands or customers to figure out who is that ideal client. And that's why on some brand collaborations it specifies females 30 to 40 years old, lives in US or Canada. Like there's like very specifics because that is who will buy their products. They've tested this. So that's who they're looking for. We need to do the same thing when it comes to our business.
You can go down quite the rabbit hole of like who your ideal client is. You really can. But knowing who that person is, and even if it's a brand, like just knowing everything, like what are their pain points specifically
Yep.
that not everyone has. Like, it's such a beginner mistake to think like, I'll just take anyone who's got the money. You will quickly find out that that's not bad at first, right? Take
Right.
what you can get so you
Yeah.
can learn and get the experience and testimonials and stuff. But soon you will learn and be like, yeah, probably shouldn't have accepted that one. Like, you'll have that one client that's a total pain in the ass,
Yeah.
or that's like just almost like taking advantage of you and what you're offering, whatever the case may be. You will work with them and then you'll learn and be like, well, I know that's not my ideal client. So let me now backtrack and start to figure out who is.
Yeah. And I think that it also goes into growing your social media. Who's your ideal audience? That is huge. That is just as important because who your audience is will help you decide what your content is going to be created around, what your hook is going to be at the beginning of your video because you're touching on that pain point. And if you're creating content for a brand, what is it that they specify they specialize in? That's what you need to be using as the hook because that's going to help their ideal audience then go buy that product and the conversion rate will go up. So it's like this is always something we should be thinking about, even if you are a no niche creator. What is the specific brand deal you have right now? What is their communication? What's their message? Then what are you going to create to help get their message across to their ideal audience?
That's so good. Yeah, that's extremely well said. And that kind of takes us down the road too of like, before we even go there, actually, I want to jump back to how you mentioned like the ideal audience. I like to cater my videos and just pretend I'm having a one-on-one conversation with one of those audience
Mm-hmm.
members, like someone, like I'm speaking specifically to them, like, hey, I know you're going through this right now because I went through this. And you will find that you start to build not just an audience, but a community that looks to you for knowledge and things. And this is a great way to also begin to become the authority in your space and the person people look to for advice. And now they're in your comments and your DMs and they're asking you questions about stuff. And suddenly you're not going out and finding all of your leads, you're attracting them.
Yeah, and that is, I think, the secret to winning and being successful is not just doing all this work, but also allowing those things to come to you based on your actions. Your actions every day are going to attract something. So make sure that your actions are going to be aligning with exactly who and what you want to attract in your life. And that's so important that attracting it just makes you also save time, quote unquote, because you're doing less outreach because what you're executing will then attract exactly who you want to be in your life. And what you said about talking one on one, that strategy is the most important thing people need to understand. Is like, don't start your video with, hey guys, don't ever do that. No, talk to the one. Pretend like you're on FaceTime with your mom or whoever your ideal audience is. Like, that is huge. So I'm very glad you brought that up. Like, that people want to be talked to. They want to know that you're talking to them, that you care about them, not that you're trying to generalize an entire message to everyone.
Oh, so good. We could probably do a whole episode on talking to that person in your videos and how much it will help. So make sure you guys are like really understanding the importance of that. And as you started touching on manifestation and stuff, it just made me think back to the episode where we were talking about vision boards and things. Like, it's so real. And if you have not listened to that episode, absolutely go back. You'll It was chilling. We said so many things. We're just like, I got the chills. No, you got the chill. Like, it was a chilling episode. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and check it out.
Yeah.
Um, so we kind of covered attracting clients now. I want to jump into finding clients a little bit because another beginner mistake when finding clients is like getting that shiny object syndrome. Like, creators, business owners, entrepreneurs, they're always looking for that one hack that's going to get them like, oh my God, this is what did it. This got me 1,000 new clients. Like, they're looking for that one thing that's going to just break through and like, oh my God, that's it. Like this amazing ad, this amazing strategy, and nothing will beat consistency. But if you get shiny object syndrome when it comes to finding your leads and you're always like, let me buy that advertising course now, let me do this, I'm posting consistently for a month, but it's not working. And now let me switch back to email marketing. And people jump around too much with those channels to generate the leads. When if you just pick one and you're consistent with it, you will find success. You will be able to do more outreach and optimize your conversion rate and do all of those things. But the mistake is to get shiny object syndrome when it comes to finding those leads. So, Michelle, have you ever had an experience like that, or maybe talked to someone who has?
With the shiny object syndrome or with finding brand deals?
I guess maybe going down the rabbit hole of like, oh, this is how I'll get the next deal. Oh no, this is like something like that.
Yeah, I mean, on the regular, I'm pretty sure you and I both talk to creators who do this. They go back and forth between all these different just shiny objects that are going to be the answer in that season. But I think that it's almost so simple what you really need to do that people think that that's not going to work. That's too easy. But when I tell people and I give them a breakdown of this is what you need to do, it works almost every time. And it's what worked for me. Like, for an example, finding brand deals. Yes, doing outreach and all that is great, but a great time saver are these apps, are these programs, Brands Meet Creators newsletter. And what we can do down in the comments and in the description is also drop in some of these things that I'm referencing. But I think that if you're a UGC creator, for example, or a content creator, being on apps like Coley, Aspire, Apex Drop, all of these apps are literally made for creators. So when I hear creators saying like, "Oh, I'm on Upwork and Fiverr, but no, I haven't joined those. I haven't taken time to like really do that. I'm trying to build a digital download." I'm like, but wait, don't you want to create content for brands? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, there are brands that are literally available right now looking for people just like you. Just go sign up. Go figure out if you're not approved, go figure out what you need to do to get approved. Like, this is the easiest place to start. So start there. Like, just start there. And it immediately will get some people's foot in the door to actually be doing what they want to do, but it almost seems so simple that they want to do all these other things. You know what I mean?
Oh, I sure know what you mean. I've been through this myself too. Like when I was trying to get life coaching clients, I was like, let me go on Reddit. I'll go on Reddit forums and I'll find people there talking about like how they're struggling. And then I was like, no, they're in the Facebook groups. This is where I'll find the ideal client. And you're definitely right about the part of like, go to where your ideal clients gather. Like why do lions hang out like near lakes, and ponds? Like because they know that their prey, like what they're looking for is going to show up there. So you're right, like it sounds too easy, but it really does work. And I started like going through too many of these though, and then it turned into shiny object syndrome and I was trying to do too many things at once and I was like, wait, I just need to pick one place where these people are gathering and just hang out there and get good at it. And once I'm confident in it, or I've tried long enough to know that this is not going to sustain me as long as I want, you can either move on to greener pastures or build out another avenue. So there's a balance for sure.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think that it's important for people to realize the consistency part that you keep mentioning. We've got to just keep saying it because when I started with gifted campaigns on Apex Drop, because it was so time saving, I did 49 gifted campaigns before ever getting a paid deal. And the reason I did that is because I was like, what is my goal? My goal is to create content for a living. How do I do that? Well, I need some experience creating content. So, in that social proof, I need to have more content to create, but I also need stuff for my portfolio. If I would have hopped around and been like, oh no, but I want to start a podcast. Oh no, but I also want to teach people. Oh, I want to do coaching. I want to digital download. Like, I want to do email newsletters. I would have never been able to even execute those 49 brand deals. But those 49 brand deals, unpaid, led to so much monetary payment very quickly. And focusing on that and not getting that shiny object syndrome, it it really is what brought me to where I am today. So please don't underestimate what Nick is saying about consistency and staying focused on that one thing that you know will lead to what you most desire. There's a lot of creators, I don't know if you experience this. So many creators are like, "Yeah, I've been doing a digital download, building my email list, but like I'm not really getting brand deals." And I'm like, "Well, why are you doing the digital download? Like, let's just pause that for now. Let's focus on like the one thing you know you really do want." And it's just nice that we are having this conversation because I know there's more people than just our one-on-one clients that go through this.
So many people, and it's just like everything we say, like we're also reminding ourselves
Yeah.
of these things because it happens sometimes. You do see that shiny object and you're like, wait a minute, that one's not just a shiny object though. Like that one really is going to be it for me. Like that's the new thing. And then you try it and it's taking focus away from the things, the basic fundamental things that you know you should have been doing. So it's so important to find a balance of like, am I logically testing different channels to get myself new clients in a healthy way? Or am I rushing through them to see which one is going to get me the next client fastest and then put all my eggs in that basket? So finding that balance is crucial.
Yeah, and I will say, it's hard at first because when I first started, I was like, yes, I did those 49 brand deals and everything, but I did buy the podcast mic that I'm literally holding like 3 years ago, really like wanting to do a podcast, wanting to do these things, but I knew I had a decision to make. And I decided, no, I'm just going to do one thing. And if I would have been hopping around, I mean, gosh, I don't even know what I would have talked about in my podcast. It would have sucked. Like, there's like no way I could have done all of that while doing a full-time job. And so being realistic, and it sometimes feels like your timeline is delayed when you focus on one thing, but in reality it kind of expedites things faster because you're really learning what you need to learn and marinating on new knowledge and new experiences that will stick instead of just trying to learn and do all these things very quickly, half ass.
The most successful entrepreneurs in the world just get really good at one thing. They just get super good at one thing. They don't make so much money because they are doing a million things, right? Like if you want to scale something to like crazy levels, you just need to get really good at solving one problem for people. And it's so easy to think that we can solve everything for people and just collect money and just let me solve all of your problems. But then the struggle is you can't scale.
Yeah.
You can't make this a repeatable process for your next client. So all of those shiny objects will always be dangling in front of you, and people will start waving cash and be like, hey, I know this is a little different than what you do, but like, would you mind helping me with this? And again, in the beginning, if you just need the money to stay afloat, it's okay, give it a try. But as you're working to grow and scale, stay focused.
Saying yes in the beginning to a lot can really quickly teach you what you really should be saying no to. Because all of those little, oh, design my website, dangling this money, oh, I need this branding package, looked really sexy at the time, very intriguing at the time, but it's like that was really taking my focus away from what I truly deeply down in my soul wanted. And it took me experience of feeling out these things. So I'm really glad I said yes to them, but it helped me really be more confident with my no's in the future because now I
Yeah.
can say no to things in confidence. And I know I'm not leaving money on the table, but instead I'm allowing that money to go to the right person and allowing the table to be clear for the right thing for me to now make its way and sit at the table that is really what I desire most.
So now we've talked about finding and attracting these leads, but how do you get them like entangled in your web? And Michelle, you know how to do this. It's by giving free stuff away. That
Wow.
is always the best way to continue to find and attract new leads for yourself. If all you do is talk about how you sell this amazing expensive stuff, it's going to turn a lot of people off. But if you show up on social media and provide free valuable advice, and you have free valuable guides in your bio, and you're available for a free valuable call sometimes, whether you're looking to attract people or you're reaching out to them, if you lead with free value, you will win.
I have two things to say to that. Number one, people will see something for free and still take no action. So don't blame yourself for that. There are so many people that are like, I made this free thing, I'm doing free calls, and like people are still not saying they're not getting on the call or they're not even downloading it, but they're asking me in the comments, it's right there, but they're not going to the free resource. And some people just won't take action. That's not in our control. So just know that that's okay. But secondly, doing this with brand deals is huge. If you are delivering 3 videos to them and you offer 2 additional videos with your watermark at the time of delivery, now you have 5 videos. You can either like give them the videos because you loved working with them so much, or offer the 2 additional videos at a discount. You already worked for free. Sometimes they'll say yes and then give you more money. And it's just like one of those things that might keep them coming back in the future. The same goes for any business you have. If you have a social media client, and then you're like, you know what, I decided to make some custom highlight covers for you because I just knew that you needed them and I really wanted to help out. They're going to really feel more trust with you and that you truly care. And I think that you should always truly care. Like, don't just manipulate it and pretend to
Right.
give free value because you're trying to get something in return. Don't ever do that with anything in life, please. Be a good person. But I just think that providing value also attracts people to you and then keeps them nurtured.
It is so true. And I want to tie this back to one of the biggest businesses out there. Any thoughts where I'm going with this, Michelle?
I'm
One of the
curious.
biggest businesses that gives something away for free and then they get you right where they want you.
I can actually just had like 12 businesses come to my head, but who are you talking about?
I am referring to a little business called Google.
Oh,
You know what's free? Gmail
Mm,
and Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Slides and YouTube. And Google owns all of these things, and they know just how to get you for free. Most people listening to this probably have a Gmail. And chances are, when you think about it, you're like, oh, wait, I also pay Google for extra storage. And I also pay YouTube so I don't have to watch their ads. Or they're getting you by you're watching their ads anyway. So then they're making money on that end. So Google has become like, I think they're like the second or third biggest company in the US or something, by giving away free value to get you involved and excited. And they're not doing it to manipulate you. Like, Gmail is amazing. I want to say awesome and amazing. I said I'm awesome.
I'm
Gmail
awesome.
is so awesome that they get you signing up sometimes with multiple accounts. I have like three different Gmail accounts. And I use Google Docs because I love it. And I use Google Slides because it's better than PowerPoint. And I love Google Sheets. They get you with the free products, the free value, not deceitful value, like try our free thing that actually sucks, so you have to pay to get the good one. Like, no, they're like, try our free amazing thing and enjoy. And if
Yeah.
you end up watching an ad or two, thank you. And if you end up paying for extra storage, wonderful.
Wow. That is so true. And that's what really set them apart from other search engines.
What were some other brands that came to mind when I mentioned free value to you?
Well, I was thinking of like Amazon. I think that even though there is a Prime membership, but it's like the 2-day shipping, the overnight shipping, you literally can find whatever you're looking for because their algorithm is so amazing. It's free for you to be an Amazon influencer and have an Amazon storefront and make money on commission, affiliate commission. Like, that's free. You're not paying to be an Amazon influencer. And they have this platform to where you're able to find brands and brand deals and work with these brands, and it's just incredible free value. And I think that that's why they also grew. I mean, again, I know they have Prime, like a Prime membership, but that's actually not how Amazon makes all their money. Amazon's money is not made from Prime memberships. They have an entire server or something out there that is actually what makes them money. But what we see and what got their name out is the amazing user experience within shopping. And that's what got me to know about them. And so it's like, yeah, their moneymaker is something I've never even really come across, but I know who they are. Meta, Instagram, like it's free to be on social media, but I'm watching these ads. I'm sometimes paying for ads myself on there. So it's just like these large brands and companies start with free value and then suck you right in. And I'm a sucker for it and I love it. I will gladly be sucked into that.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. This is what TikTok did. Like, TikTok didn't allow ads for like the first year or two. It was just like, come enjoy this amazing new social media platform that's better than the rest. And then they got all of us on there and they were like, hey, by the way, we're going to show you guys just a couple ads here and there, nothing crazy. And it's like, okay, well, we're just here because we love the free stuff. So whatever, like, not a huge deal. And now suddenly they're making a ton of money from those ads. So I'm trying to see if we could think of one more really big business that like is so obviously doing this, but we haven't given it much thought. Like, they're giving away a ton of free value, but then they get you.
Yeah, phone apps, some of these fitness programs too, like free YouTube videos, even creators are doing this. It's just there are always ways to monetize, but it usually starts with free value. Show what you can bring to the table. What are you offering? Okay, if it's good enough, I'll want more of it.
Yep. I just thought of another one that also sponsors tons of podcasts. HelloFresh.
Oh,
Sign up to HelloFresh with our code, get 10 meals free.
yeah.
They're definitely taking a big fat loss on those 10 meals, making it free to the user, but they've taken the time to analyze their conversion rates and they know you will like it or forget to cancel and just keep enjoying it. and they'll make money overall by giving away that free value, even though their product is not free.
Right.
They're sending like real food, meat, fruit, and vegetables, but they took some time to analyze this and be like, if we give away this many free meals, we know they'll love it, and enough people will stay that this is profitable for us.
Yeah, it's what sets them apart from a lot of other meal delivery services. If I can get my box in front of the person 9 out of 10 times, or maybe like 1 out of 10 times, somebody's going to buy it and subscribe.
I love HelloFresh. I did HelloFresh for a while. I signed up, heard it on a podcast, and I was like, I'm so smart. I'll get those 10 free meals, and I know what I'll do. I'll cancel. And then I was like, that's what everyone's thinking. They're like, I know what I'll do. Turns out it was so amazing. I was like, what am I going to cancel this for? I'm eating better than I have in a long time. I'm becoming a better cook. I'm making like filet mignons with like just amazing stuff. So overall, what we're getting at and trying to beat through everyone's head is lead with value and free stuff. Know your ideal client. Don't get discouraged at all the no's you're going to get. And anything else in summary, Michelle, or other things you want to touch on before we start to wrap this up?
Go find people that are your ideal client and go connect with them, engage with them, hear them. Look at your comments. What are you being asked? Like, what is the brand being asked in their comments? Even down to like, it goes back to be the friend you want to have, be the supportive creator you want to be supporting you. Go be the person that you wish to attract in your life. And I fully believe in that too. And so it's like, if you have an online course, like when I started my online course, I went and purchased like 5 other online courses because I was like, I know that this is going to attract people to mine. And like I still haven't gone through all of them. Like I honestly haven't even clicked on some of these, even digital downloads. Like if I see somebody that is selling a digital download, I will likely go buy it just to support them because I would love to, not that I want them to do anything, but I know that will come back around to me someday. So it's like thinking with that in mind, paying it forward and being the supportive person I want to attract is it's just it can't be underestimated. I think that's just so important too.
I'm really glad you said that. I'm also a total sucker for those things. Like the advertisements know just how to get me. They're like free download, and I'm like perfect. And then they're like $27 upsell, and I'm like no big deal.
Yeah.
Um, and it's the way they get you is leading with value. So
Yeah.
this was a really good episode.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to drop down some links below just for references. If you are having trouble with where should you start, we will provide some assets down below just to help you start somewhere and then maybe stay there if that's
Yeah.
where you're wanting to go.
Yes, that's a really good point. And at the bottom of every episode, we also have links to our socials and all of our own free resources that we give away that are super valuable. So if you're looking for more ways to monetize your creativity and find more freedom in your life, subscribe, leave us a rating, leave us a review, DM us if you have anything specific you want us to talk about or comment. Would love to hear feedback from everyone who's listening, watching, or somehow consuming this. If you want to find me on Instagram and TikTok, it's at Get Ahead with Nick. Michelle on Instagram and TikTok is at Michelle JH. Michelle has 2 L's, 4 E's, JH. Thanks for watching or listening.